Welcome everyone to the Climathon Bangalore. Without further ado, I think all of the participants that are here, I want to start by saying congratulations. We received many applications and we picked the foremost, most innovative ideas and applications to join us as participants. A little bit about the Climathon initiative and the Climathon movement itself before we dive right in. The Climathon was an initiative that was started by one of Europe's foremost innovation organizations, the EIT Climate Cake. More than 150 cities every year participate in city-based climathons where ideation and innovation about a relevant climate change issue for that community happens in every one of these cities. In 2020, for the first ever time, with this, full support of the Melton Foundation as well as C-STEP, who are the organizing uh, organizations, we are bringing the Climathon to Bangalore. And our theme, as you all know, is innovating urban waste management in Bangalore. The Climathon is an excellent way for us to come together across boundaries of profession and domain and regions, and we're really excited to see what you as participants can produce in the form of innovative solutions to the theme of waste management. C-STEP, as many of you already know, is one of India's leading think tanks. We also have our judges and our panelists from C-STEP. Dr. Indu K. Murthy, C-STEP's principal research scientist, is also on this call with us today. The Melton Foundation is a global citizenship organization. We work on bringing the message of global citizenship to over 6 different countries in the world, and Bangalore is one such global citizenship hub of ours. We also work on the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals and bringing sustainable action and sustainable development to local and global communities. I think I can't stress enough about the importance of bringing together youth and young people who are motivated to make a difference from different walks of life and engage them to build sustainable, thriving, self sustaining local communities. And the Climathon is definitely a very innovative and novel way to do the same. With that, I want to say welcome everybody and congratulations once again to making it to Climathon Bangalore. You're here for the participants kickoff, which is, as the title suggests, the kickoff of the event. After this, it's really your show. It's in your hands. I hope you make the best use of the next 50 hours. And we really look forward to the winning ideas and solutions that come off from this event. Congrats once again, everyone, and welcome. With that, I hand over once again to my dear colleague, Lars Dietzel, who's joining us on a very early morning in Chile. So over to you, Lars.
Thank you very much, Ashi, and thank you for setting the stage, the introductory words. This is our official Climathon kickoff session after a launch panel, which I hope many of you could join. Very insightful, great conversation around waste management, around implications from different perspectives. We're now moving into our 50 hours virtual innovation marathon. And with this session is very important. And as well, we're glad to have many of you on this call. It's a really great opportunity to, first of all, get together, get to know us, get together, get to know us, and also look at the, so to say, nuts and bolts of what is ahead, because the Climathon Bangalore clock is ticking. We have 50 hours to virtually innovate, to virtually design, create, and work together, collaborate. Even though Slack is one of our platforms, but slacking is not the not the tone of the moment, but really all hands on deck. And to get us started on the right tone, we are doing a first small activity in breakout rooms, because as we said, this Climathon is a collaborative event. Part of the challenge is to find your tribe, to come together in teams of 4 to 5. We will talk about this in more detail. And in order to form teams, it's important to get to know each other first. So let's do this very quickly in a first breakout room. I have set up the backstage, but before I throw you off, launch you off into smaller groups, just wanted to quickly introduce the activity. So all of you will be randomly assigned. So there's no no other magic than Zoom magic behind. Whoever is in artificial intelligence, maybe you know how it works and can explain later. To me, it's always a curiosity, but it works, which is the most important thing. So we will be assigning you into breakout rooms. In your breakout rooms of 4 to 5 people, use the opportunity. You have 5 to 8 minutes to quickly introduce yourself, talk about who you are, where you come from, what your background is, what brings you to this climathon. And there's one challenge that you all have to tackle or handle, because uh, you should be finding one thing, something maybe unexpected, that can be something extremely mundane, like a favorite movie, or a food habit that you all share, or your pet's name. Who knows? We'll be looking forward to that. But the challenge is that use the time to introduce yourself, to get to know yourself, and have conversations about things that you could have in common. Because once we come back into the plenary, each breakout room will have one person from each breakout room will quickly give an update on how the conversation went and share the one thing that you all shared from your breakout room. I can't see many of you on camera, and that is the first invitation to all of you to activate the camera, because team formation and teamwork is so much more fun if you actually have a face to, haha, thank you so much, face to the name. And we will send you off into the breakout rooms. Just for those of you on camera, if you can give a quick thumbs up if the instructions are clear. Excellent, wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Thank you so much. With no further ado, we will send you all off. Also, our co-organizers are assigned. You don't have to attend the breakout rooms. You can stay in the plenary. Otherwise, wishing you fruitful conversation, happy meeting each other. And remember, one thing that you have in common that you then can bring back, one representative of each breakout room can bring back to this panel as we're bringing us all back together and moving into the next steps. And off we go into the breakout rooms. Enjoy. Hello, hello. I hope you had fun. It was not much time to get to know each other, but nonetheless, consider this a starting point. It's just the kickoff. We'll have much more time. And of course, 5 groups, 5, I hope, inspiring, fun conversations around who you are, what brings you here, what you do, and the one thing that you share in common. And I would like to ask a representative of each group. We take this very organically, of course. I can happily volunteer, but if there's volunteers from your side, just jump ahead, unmute yourself, the name of your group, or the number of your group. We didn't give you names unless you decided on a name. Maybe that's the name you have in common of your pet.
Okay, Lars, I would start for group 2, breakout room 2. Okay, so we didn't realize that how the time slipped by, and we could identify a common aspect between two people. I mean, there was a pair that we could have. A pair had interest in travel and adventure, and one pair had interest in reading and the books or scripts. So this is how we were.
Nice. Very, very cool. Thank you so much, Neha, for sharing group 2. Well done. You volunteered. You managed the first challenge to actually find the unmute button on the Zoom call. Thank you, Neha. And thank you, group number 2. All right. Breakout groups 1, 3, 4, and 5. The unmute button, well, for me, it's at the bottom left. Just click it. Whoever on your group goes first. This is not a listen-in session. There will be parts where you listen in and I'll ask you to be mute. Otherwise, there will be more interaction. So get used to, activating your camera and unmuting yourself. So groups 1, 3, 4, or 5. Who would like to go next?
Hello, everybody. So I'm Natira. Myself, Him Shweta, Josna, Palak, we're all in the first group. We had a discussion about our common interests. We happen to be, like, 4 of us happen to be either who is studying engineering right now or who has graduated engineering and is doing their PG right now. So that would be one common thing. And the other thing that we discussed about, we were all interested in making a change that's what everybody is here for. And we also thought that we had a common interest of sustainability and those goals. So that's what I want to conclude with.
Excellent. Thank you so
Happy,
much.
happy to be here.
And it's good to have you. Thank you so much, Natira. And group one, a lot of commonalities. Exciting, exciting, exciting. And I guess, well, taking it by the quote and on the tone is making a change that brings us here. So group 3, 4, and 5, you know how it works. Unmute and speak. How did the conversation go, and what is the commonality that you share?
Hello. So I was in group number 5. It was Manasi, Sharvari, Lavanya, and Shivani. It was the 5 of us. And it was not a lot of time, first of all. We were introducing ourselves in a round robin fashion. We just discovered that all of us have at one point volunteered or worked on and ourselves consciously reduce the plastic waste we consume. And also 2 of us had real concern for menstrual hygiene. That was also another thing that we had in common. And really, like group 1 said, just a common goal for a sustainable future. that was that.
Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you so much, Group 5. Great to see that, well, great to hear about your engagement, your civic engagement in your communities as volunteers, etc. And of course, well, the menstrual hygiene, if you weren't able to see or to attend the panel conversation, I highly recommend, because one of the panelists was very much into that topic and committed into the topic. So if you weren't able to join, watch the recording after. 2 more groups to go, 3 and 4. Who does not want to be the last to report back?
I'll speak on behalf of group number 4, breakout room 4. In our room, 2 of them were from like Melton Foundation. So we were just talking about like Bangalore and about how like they've been in Bangalore and stuff like that. And I think the common thing that we found was about trying to make Bangalore the garden city, like it's called the garden city. And so we were basically discussing that and about how we can hold up to that name of making Bangalore beautiful and making it basically the garden city and live up to the name.
Very nice, very nice. I always like the name a lot, so I appreciate that Breakout 4 has said it as, well, a group challenge if you want to actually make Bangalore the garden city. Good one on that. So group number 3, last but not least, please let us know what your common determinator, whatever the thing is in mathematics is. Look, I'm very curious to hear.
Hi guys, so I was part of group 3, and along with me was Arundhati, Aishwarya, and Chetan, if I'm not wrong. Sorry, I'm really bad at names. And so we actually discovered that I'm actually colleagues with 2 of them. They study in the same college as I do. And also I found that Arundhati is involved in agriculture, which was damn cool. So we were talking about that, but midway the breakout room ended, and but that's okay. So hopefully, we get onto the Climathon and get to know.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much, Breakout Group 3, and of course Breakout Groups 1 to 5. This is, as I said earlier, this is really the kickoff session. So while our Climathon Bangalore clock is ticking, we have about 48 hours of virtual innovation marathon ahead of us, and ample time for you to get to know each other, to get your all hands on deck, to form teams, that find your tribe that you need to be in, to actually bring along the solution idea that you want to produce. And as part of the next 15 to 20 minutes, I will briefly go over the nuts and bolts, if you want, of what the Climathon is. I will be sharing my screen. I do not have a presentation, fancy materials to showcase, because we're here to innovate. We're not here to shine yet. So hence also setting the tone. It's really about making things work. It's finding the best tools for you as we're going through this 50-hour climate innovation marathon. So allow me very quickly to share my screen and to, of course, I cannot do multitasking, hence I need to be silent when I do another thing at the same time. So what you are seeing now is our shared folder, right? So we set up a shared Climathon Bangalore folder that all of you have been admitted to. If you haven't received the invitation, make sure you check this out in this folder. And this is the starting point also for the nuts and bolts. You find all relevant materials, support worksheets that we will be introducing and using throughout the Climathon Bangalore, right? Be mindful that Climathon Bangalore, it's a fast-paced event. So that is, even though it's 50 hours, but there is a lot ahead, a lot of process to be gone through, a lot of work to be done by you. And it is really, really, really important that you take this seriously, that to make the time out of for the upcoming 48 hours, be present, be actively engaged on our platforms, and to really, really, really invest energy, time, effort into this. There are great, really meaningful and powerful, quote unquote, winning packages at the end for the winning teams, because we don't want just to leave it at the ideation stage, but really also take the best suited, or these ideas coming out of the Climathon, which can see the light shortly, and support them further through mentoring, through internships, etc., so that you can take this forward in the most meaningful way. So as I said, the shared folder is the starting point. Make sure, my recommendation is to bookmark it so that you have it always on top of your file list on Google Drive. And before we go into the details, I just wanted to quickly introduce the different channels we're using, or the different technologies we're using. We discussed as a team, to go with, we looked at very different technologies and platforms that are out there. There's really, really, really cool stuff, and the sky is the limit. For us, and for us, important was that the challenge of this 50-hour virtual innovation marathon is not to navigate or to learn to navigate new technology, but it's really for you to use technology to fulfill the goal, or the challenge, if you want, to develop a solution idea that can see the light. So one of the challenges that one of the technologies, that we're using is Slack. Most of you have already joined the Slack space. Fabulous, great. If you're not on there yet, in the technology and platform in use document in our shared folder, you find all the instruction. Slack is set up in a way that it allows to communicate in channels. So we have created different channels which we will be using. The first channel is always the one that we will send announcements. That is official, updates, information about session. I'm sure you've seen that so far, so make sure to keep a close eye on that. There is a help channel if you need support with technology, if you need if you have any questions about processes, get it in there. This is the channel that is monitored by our tech team, and of course also by the organizers, and the other channels are around for you to use. Technology, quote unquote, communication is always the key, and we want to make sure that everybody is well informed. We are always sending the most important announcement by email. We have created a mailing list that all of you are part of and should be receiving. If you're not seeing it in your inbox, make sure to also check your spam or promotions folder, because sometimes new email addresses end up there. This is if you want, it's a Google group on an open source platform, so that is everybody subscribed receives emails and can send emails to that group. That said, there's about 100 plus people in this channel. Be mindful when sending. Otherwise, we'll also send the most important announcements there to keep you on board. Moving on, Google Drive, I already talked about this. not much more to add. In addition to the shared folder, of course, Google has a lot of productivity tools that you can use and hopefully will use also as we're moving forward. It's all in your hands. You can stay on the platforms that we're using or that we're recommending, but you can also transition to other platforms that work best for you. And last but not least, this very meeting is happening right here, Zoom. So Zoom is the quote-unquote designated meeting platform where we will have all the scheduled meetings that will happen throughout the Climathon. Now, talking about what will happen throughout the Climathon, I'm moving into the next key document. If at some point my screen allows to. I hope you can see this. This is the event schedule day by day. This is, if you don't mind me saying that, is your Bible or the holy book of this Climathon, because it has all the necessary and the key information that you will need to make this a success for you and your teams. The event schedule is, each day has a separate sheet, and in there we have identified, of course, the times, what activity we're currently here. So if you look at this highlighted session, this is what we're in now. So you find the time, the name of the session, a short description, and the venue platform is where it gets interesting and where it's also helpful along the way. Should you miss any announcement, you will always find the respective link either to the Zoom session that we're on or the Drive folder, with resources, information, etc., that you should be considering for that particular activity. It's in the last column called venue and platform. So as an invitation to everybody, use this actively throughout. And as if you're looking at the document and scroll through, you will actually only see two deadlines. There's two fixed deadlines throughout the event. Everything else is flexible and in your hand. So the two deadlines are, one is the deadline, is a submission deadline for team registrations. So as part of our 50-hour virtual innovation marathon, the first challenge is actually for you to come together in teams of 4 to 7. Identify what you'll be working on, kind of what brings you together, what is the challenge that you're observing, and then in these teams come together, give yourself a team name, list the representatives, and register the team officially. You can find the team registration sheet. It's also a Google Sheet in here. Make sure you list yourselves, your teammates, the name of the team in this sheet by tomorrow, Friday, November 6th, 10 a.m. local time in India. That is the first deadline. The second deadline, and allow me to scroll down a little further, is just before we come to an end, day 3 on Saturday, November 7th at 4 p.m. Indian time. This is the submission deadline for solution ideas. So once you have come together as your team, you have the remaining time of the Climathon Bangalore to actually work together on identifying, first of all, unpacking the problem, the challenge that you're observing, identifying the real issue, and then moving forward into the ideation, prototyping, and testing stage. Some of those of you who are familiar with design thinking, you will have already noticed that design thinking is the baseline methodology that we're using for this Climathon. And because it can be difficult to manage times, we will help to pace the process. So there's also here in this schedule, you will find different phases. So these are the phases that, from our experience, are usually, the timings and the process indicators that work with most teams on average. However, this is an indication to help you keep on track and to pace the process. So each phase comes with a short informational video and a video impulse, along with a designated resource folder on our shared drive. We will announce this, but you can proceed slower or faster. That is totally in your hand. You can definitely move ahead without the announcement from our side. Important is that you keep the two deadlines in mind. deadline 1 tomorrow, team registration, and deadline 2 on Friday at 4 for the submission of the solution ideas. Okay. Other than that, we have a couple of sessions scheduled throughout the event. 2 virtual launches at the end of the day after a full day of work. It's always good. We'll call it a happy hour or a, a chill out session. We are calling it the virtual launch, where the Zoom room is available. We will, so to say, quote unquote, host the session, but it's really in your hands to make it your own. It's a breakout room, social engagement. In many of these virtual activities, you know, the coffee breaks are missing. I hate to say that, but I'm a smoker, but you know, the smoking breaks where you actually go outside, step outside and meet other people with the same horrible habit, but engage in conversation. So, you know, these small things are difficult to reproduce in the virtual space. So hence, every evening, today and tomorrow, a virtual launch where you're more than invited to come, to meet, to have conversations, to have a laugh, etc., with your colleagues. Plus, we have 6 different mentor hours scheduled. Some of our mentors are on this call. Some of our most mentors are already also on our Slack space. Mentor hours are 1 hour sessions on Zoom, where 2 to 3 professionals who committed to mentoring or to offering guidance, advice, support as part of this Climathon are available at your to you. And it is an open session, so we'll announce the session and it's up to you to join. So there is mentor hours, 6 mentor hours. It's always 1 hour. I really recommend to make use of this opportunity wherever you're on this process. Get it on the table, discuss it with the mentors available at this time, and get the guidance that you may be looking for, or bounce of ideas, or if you're stuck with anything. This is a great opportunity to keep moving and to keep innovating along the way. So that said, the event schedule is all there for you. We keep pacing the event, sending announcement, but it's really in your hand. Remember, and a reminder at the same time, the 2 deadlines which are crucial: 10 a.m. tomorrow for the team formation. Team or participants who are not in a team will have it very difficult to proceed in the Climathon. Hence, take this very seriously. We need you to form teams in the early stage, teams of 4 to 7 people. And the second deadline is on Friday at 4 to actually submit your solution idea, and the submission is with a 2-minute video pitch and a submission form that you will be uploading also in our shared folder. All right, so moving from the event schedule, you know, this is the framework, the wireframe, moving into actually the fun part, because the Climathon Bangalore, it's more than just, you know, everybody doing his or her own thing. It's a great opportunity to actually come together. As we said earlier, team formation is an important part. Come together with like-minded or also differently minded individuals who share common interests, who share common cause, to work through the discussions and work through the topics you're having. And in order to facilitate also the engagement, we have put together some basic communication rules. The Climathon is not sector specific, or is not, you know, just focused on a particular segment of Bangalore society. There's a lot of diversity in this room. You've probably noticed it already in our first small team building activity. So be kind to each other. Remember that we share, but at the same time we are unequal, so everyone is different. There's different ways, different experiences, different access to. So just keep that in mind as also you're engaging with your colleague innovators. And of course, your continued engagement matters. As I said in the beginning, being there, being present, being proactive is key to success, right? And there are a few more tips and tricks, which I'm not going through in detail. What I would like to mention is that the additional observations and disclaimers. So part of the Climathon, we're part of, if you want, the climate movement. So this is a 50-hour event organized and co-hosted by C-STEP and Melton Foundation, with all of you great minds on board. And of course, we want to make sure that whatever comes out of this Climathon, that the novelty, the innovation, the spirit transcends. So we're not applying the Las Vegas rule that what happens in Las Vegas stays in Las Vegas. It's all the opposite. We want the world to know and to pick up on these great ideas, to actually serve and further the common purpose. So keep that in mind, that, you know, whatever comes out of here will be shared also on YouTube, on social media, unless there is one particular solution idea that may have, you know, ownership issue concerns, etc., which is close to startup or whatever there is. Of course, there's wiggle room to kind of to keep the ownership with you, but at the same time make sure that the vision, the goal, the ideas can be shared widely. So, and if a fourth key element, and this is where I also would want to stop kind of the nuts and bolts, is actually sharing this here, is our participants directory. In the participants directory, you find the key information to everybody who has registered and accepted into the Climathon Bangalore, right? So this is, as particularly for the team formation course, use this as a resource, because you may be looking for quite a diversity of skills and capacities on your team to actually succeed with the challenge to develop a solution idea, to prototype, and to submit a 2-minute video pitch introducing the material, right? So use this wisely, and at the end of the last column, you will find a suggested challenge cluster. So based on your registration information, we have looked at what the different, you know, interests or challenges you're observing are, and looked for ways to cluster them to really help you in the early stage, so that you can look out for similar people in a similar tribe. And we will in next we will build on this, but I just wanted to point out that with each participant, there is a suggested challenge cluster based on the information provided in your registration. This can change. This is perfectly in order. It is not carved in stone. It is not set as a golden rule. It's really an indicator, or also if you want, a starting point for you to look for people who share similar interests according to the cluster, right? So going back to the overall folder, this is what it looks like. The second folder, upload folder, is the one that you will be using when submitting your ideas. And going very briefly into the first folder, the working materials, you will see all the 6 stages. Whenever it loads, you will see all the 6 stages. And this is the one that we're starting out with: team formation and team building, right? So with no further ado, I can only iterate the fast-paced nature. We will support you along the way, but it's really in your hands. So be mindful of time, be mindful of process, and really enjoy collaborating and designing, making Bangalore the Garden City. We're close to the close of the kickoff session, and I just wanted to, as everybody's coming back into this plenary, just wanted to reiterate, this is the kickoff. So this is the starting point, not only of our 50-hour virtual innovation marathon, but also of the team formation process. Be mindful that not everybody who is actually participating in this Climathon Bengaluru is on this Zoom call. Hence, whatever you have discussed and whatever you have kind of identified topics to work on, make sure to take it forward in the Slack space. If you're not signed up there yet, be sure to sign up as soon as you get off this call, if not at the same time. Multitasking can be done by some, by others not, me included. And with no further ado from my side, I'll be handing over to my dear colleague Ashi for a little bit of roundup and the look out of what's ahead again.
Absolutely. We hope you enjoyed getting to know one another in those breakout rooms, and you have all of the information that you need to at least get started. We are fully aware that it's a lot to process and a lot to catch up with in just one call. As Lars said, this is just the kickoff. We will be sending you announcements, reminders on Slack. Our Slack channels are open, so feel free to send us a message or use the tech support channel if you're getting stuck anywhere with technology. Go ahead and form your teams. I highly encourage all of you to leave messages on Slack if you're not yet part of a team, saying, "Hey, I'm part of this and this cluster. This is my name. I'm looking for a team member, or I'm looking to join a team." The more communicative and the more collaborative you will be, the easier it gets to form a team. And once your team is formed and you've let us know and you've registered your team, then the process becomes really smooth. So keep an eye out for our email communication as well as our announcements on Slack. And we are hoping that you have a really good experience, and best of luck to all the teams. That's all from me.
Yes, best of luck. Thank you so much, Ashi. Best of luck. Tomorrow, remember, 10 a.m. is the first one of the two deadlines. 10 a.m. tomorrow, Indian Standard Time, IST, for team where you need to register your team that you'll be working on for the rest of the Climathon. We will keep you posted. We will send more information along your way. The good thing is, because I'm based in Chile, I'll be around most of the time of your night. So if you're a late bird, count on me. If you're an early bird, count on my dear colleagues in in Bangalore. And best of luck. Enjoy the journey. It will be messy, but that is part of innovation. Stay active, stay engaged, and if there's anything, shout out. We will not take you by the hand to lead your way, but we're there to support and have your back. Best of
Awesome.
success.